Hello.
What's up, y'all? So, I am doing. Ooh, what's up, y'all? So, I'm doing something that I have been wanting to do, but I have been putting off. And that's what I want to talk about. And the thing that I'm doing is recording this video, and I don't. So, okay, let me start over. Good morning. Let's start there. I'm up doing my morning journaling, and there's something I have been working through. And I use my journal to work through processes, healing, reprogramming, all that kind of stuff. And what I'm working through is my feelings of anxiety and procrastination. And when I'm talking about that, I'm saying like, when I know I need to do something and I have a list and I'm prepared to do it and I can do it, and it's not even things that are hard. And let me try and get a little better light because y'all know I like good light. Ooh, there we go. And I like, it's not difficult for me to do, but I'll put it off. I'll do other little things. I'll sit, I'll distract myself, and then I'll eventually get it done. But I could have done it earlier and if I would have done it earlier, I could have done some other things, or I could just have been finished, right? And that's why I'm saying, even shooting this video, like, this is not a planned video. This is not something I have notes for. It's not like, you know what, I want to talk about this and I want to get this together. And sometimes I have things I want to talk about, but if I don't have it fleshed out, I don't want to discuss it. And I want to get out of that, and I want to act more in the moment. That's the whole point. I want to have less distance between. I hope this microphone is on, because I would be really pissed if I've done all this and I didn't even check my sound, which I never do. When I have an intuitive hit to do something, when I am called for inspired action, big or small, I want to move on it immediately. When I have an idea, I want to move on it immediately. I want to execute my ideas quickly, efficiently, and fully. That is one of my affirmations for receiving. I execute fully and efficiently. Execute my ideas. I execute my ideas quickly, efficiently, and fully. And this is why I also like affirmations, right? Because they're call to actions for us. And it's like, that's what I'm saying I do, but am I actually doing that? And I do it sometimes, but most of the time I don't. For all the things I've gotten accomplished in my life, they're old things. They're things that I could have done a long time ago, right? And I want to catch up to myself. Does that make sense? I want to catch up to this version of me that I know exists, that I know is possible right now, but I'm acting in an old paradigm that tells me, girl, why you want that? Why you trying to do that? You doing too much. Why it's like, who are you in competition with? And I mean, no one, but these are just programmed, like sayings, like memes, negative, low vibration, low frequency memes in my head that slow me down. And I'm having this conversation because, if I'm going through it, somebody else is going through it. And I just want to kind of work it out and tell you where I am with it and how it relates to my mother wound, right? Because again, the mother wound is a relational wound. It's between you and another person. You're a mother or female caregiver, but it affects all of your relationships. And the one I'm talking about, the one that I'm always talking about, which is the most important one, is the relationship you have with yourself. So it's like, how has the mother wound impacted the relationship I have with myself? And one way is it's through this belief that I'm not worthy of something, that I'm not deserving of something, and there's nothing I can do to be worthy or deserving of it. And how that plays out for me is in my procrastination and my anxiousness about doing things, because anxiety is a fear of what will happen in the future, right? So for me, my anxiety is not a fear that something bad will happen if I do something. My anxiety is around, and I can already feel myself getting emotional. My anxiety is around, I'm not worthy enough to experience what's on the other side of me completing whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing, right? Like, even if it is, let's say I need to clean the house, right? Let's say that. Once you clean the house is clean. There's this benefit to being like, ooh, to being in a clean house, to being relaxed. It's like, now that it's done, I can just sit and I can chill. Like, and I have accomplished something. I have finished something. There's a reward just in accomplishment and finishing, right? Along with being able to chill and enjoy a beautiful, clean home. Part of my mind tells me I'm not worthy of that. I'm not worthy of rest. I'm not worthy of relaxation. I don't deserve to be able to sit and relax in a clean home. So instead of me cleaning it all at once, I'll clean a little bit here and there, but my house may not be spotless the way I want it all at one time, right? Because it's like the question, and this is why I recorded this, because what always comes up for me is the question, who will I be? Like, I don't know who I am completing things. I don't know who I am accomplishing things. I don't know who I am doing well, because I was taught very plainly, like, you're not going to have anything. Like, I was taught, because you have a child, you're a single mother, you're not ever going to have any money. Nobody's going to love you. Who wants somebody with a child? Nobody can afford a house. Everything is always going to be hard. It's always going to be a struggle. And as an obedient daughter, I have played that out. Like, she can't be wrong. She's my mother. She has to be right. So I have to fulfill all of those things. So when my natural inclination, my intuition, my inner guidance is like, you can have love, you can have money, you can have abundance, you can have nice things, you can be healthy, you can have loving friends, you can, accomplish things, you can have a YouTube channel that grows and be monetized and pay you, and you can do whatever your mind can fathom, you can have. And my mind fathoms some grand things, okay? Amazing things. There's this inner conflict of, no, you can't. Even though there's no reason, it's so ingrained in me. And so what happens is, and I hope y'all are following me, because I'm working this through in my mind, and me talking to y'all helps me work it out. Me talking it out loud helps me work it out. And that's why I want to record it, because this is my process. And I'm like, I want to share it. So what happens is a gap in time happens, right? From the time I have an idea, an inkling, an intuition, a spark, to when I complete it, there's this gap. And that gap might be 2 weeks. That gap might be 20 years. And that gap is the gap, I'm going to call it the gap of unworthiness. And it's like a murky, dark, dirty, dingy, muddy it's not, what do you call it? Just like a quicksand. You know what I mean? It's just this terrible thing in between who I was raised to believe I am and who I really am. There's the gap of unworthiness. And I'm I spend a lot of time navigating that gap, building bridges over the gap. I might have a rope and I'm swinging. I might tiptoe through. I'm looking for rocks. That is where I spend. That is my healing journey, is navigating over those feelings of unworthiness and finding paths so I can become who I want to be. But it's like every time there's something new that I want to do or be or have, I'm starting over and working through that unworthiness. And I don't want to, I feel like that's the hard way. It's been necessary and it has been good, and I wonder, will I always have that? Almost like a you have a handicap, right? It's like an emotional handicap. Like, will I always have to navigate this muddy thing of unworthiness and always working through it and battling the demons that pop out and the moles and the fire and the dragons that come out in me? And maybe that's why I love Indiana Jones movies and movies like that, because he believes, and what is it, Lauren Cross, well, whoever Cross, there's also one woman who does it too. I love those kinds of movies because all of the things they're willing to go through to get to the treasure. Like, and nobody else believes there's a treasure, but they believe there's a treasure. They have studied it. And there's all of this shit they have to get through and go through, and people they meet, allies and enemies, to get to this treasure. And I feel like that is my life. I feel like I'm like the Indiana Jones of healing. And sometimes I wish it was easier. But at the same time, it is really thrilling. The experience when I go ahead and I jump in, because when you watch Indiana Jones, him getting the treasure, that's the end of the movie, right? The movie is over. The fun is watching all of the adventures, right? And I can't say it's always hard. It's always a bad thing. Navigating, finding my treasure. But I do want to become better at it. I want to have more confidence that I know how to navigate that space. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not that I want this murky, muddy river, pond, cesspool situation to be smaller or to go away, because that is a part of life, you know. Maybe what I want is to know that I already have built this beautiful highway and it doesn't have to be hard. And I think that's what it is. I don't believe that I can get across. I know I can, but I'm still so full of doubt every time. Like, who will I be? You know what I'm saying? Is it worth it? I'm always kind of trying to negotiate away my power so I don't have to go through something to get what I want, when you just have to go through it, right? And so maybe that's what I'm looking for is, you know, the confidence, which I have so much more confidence than I used to. And my self-esteem is so much better than it used to be, where it's like, oh, I know I can do this thing, right? But I still get caught in like the comfort of who I was sometimes, or this thing of, now this is the big one for me, like having too much. I was raised We're like, you shouldn't have too much. You shouldn't let people know you have anything. That's bragging. You're being vain. Why do you want so much? That was the messaging sent to me, right? So then it becomes, I know how to navigate and get across this bridge and get to my treasures, but does that make me selfish? Maybe if it is easy, that will make me I'm not a good person if it's so easy. Like it's supposed, like life is hard. You have to make it hard. You have to show that it still is hard. And the ways that I feel guilty about that I do know how to navigate more easily to get the things that I want. Like if I really buckled it down, I could have absolutely everything I want. I am going to have absolutely everything I want. I could have it pretty quickly, right? But I slow down my own manifestation, right? Because of my feelings of unworthiness, like I shouldn't have it. It can't be too easy. All of these things. And I don't know who this is for, right? Because I think it is applicable in a lot of ways, in big things and little things, right? If we're really honest, it's like, you know what? I could have done that. I could have that. I've had that. I could have become that. And if we look at what stopped us, it wasn't our own ability. It was something either in our mind or something externally that we let impact us, right? What someone said, how someone felt, right? Our sense of inner responsibility to others, right? Who we think we owe, who we think we are, or saying, well, I don't have any support to do it, right? I go across the bridge alone. That right there, y'all know I'm not buying that. I go across the bridge alone. I would love people to come across the bridge with me. Sometimes I meet people along the way, but for the most part, I'm willing to go across the bridge alone. Do I always end up alone going across? Absolutely not. But I'm willing to go alone. And I think that is something I do have on my side. And I think that's something you have to have. You have to be willing to go, because just like Indiana Jones, he meets people along the way who are on the same path, right? But you can't take nobody with you. Now, if you're trying to say, well, I'm trying to take this one and that, I'm trying to gather everybody like you, Moses, to take everybody across, then you're going to be fucked up, right? But I think it's important to understand what is really holding us back. And I can say, oh, my mother is holding me back, but it's not my mother holding me back. It is the programming that holds me back. And I have the power to reprogram, which is why I'm having this conversation about how I can, in my everyday life, even today, this is one of my to-do lists, right? I have another sheet that's full of stuff. And these are things that I can get done. I can get knocked out. But the ways I'm like, why did you waste time? Why didn't you just knock them out? And I get like this exhaustion it's like worthiness exhaustion. It's like doing the things that I'm supposed to do, even if they're not hard. I'm having to push through my own anxiety. Like that's what makes me tired. It's not the doing of the thing. It is that it's like I'm in a boat in that murky thing. I don't even know what you want to, it's not a lake or a pond. It's just a cesspool. And I'm in this boat and I'm rowing and it's like, it's so hard to row through it. You know what I'm saying? Because of the anxiety I have. And the anxiety, I believe, is brought on by my sense of unworthiness. I'm going to wrap this up. And feelings of not being deserving of having the things I want. That is my core belief. My core belief is that I'm not worthy and that I don't deserve to have the things I want. That is what is causing the procrastinate. That is what's causing the anxiety, which then causes me to procrastinate. The feeling of anxiety to then actualize through procrastination, distraction, time wasting, scrolling on my goddamn phone like a crazy person all day. And so my job now, I told y'all I'm working this out as I'm talking. My job is to work, instead of working on how not to procrastinate, it is to work on those feelings of unworthiness, doing some more inner child work around where I don't feel worthy, where I don't feel deserving. And there are going to be some really like acute points in that. I'm gonna come back and talk to y'all about that, because that's like a part 2 of working out what that looks like. What it's like. I have to, as a practitioner, that's what I can say. As a holistic healing practitioner, it's like now I have to prescribe things. Now that I can see what it is, it's like, okay, so what do you do now? What is the prescription? What is the medicine? Right? Is it what type of journaling? What type of affirmations? What type of EFT? What type of NLP, neuro linguistic programming? What am I going in my bag to find? You know what I mean? What type of inner child work? What is the conversation? What is the practice? What is what needs to be exposed? That's what something has to be exposed in my thought process, in my belief system. And when I can get to that, boom, the shit can change, because this here is something I keep going back to for 20, 30 years. As long as I've had a dream about doing something, this is where I get stopped. There are things I had dreams of doing 30 years ago that I could have actually done, that my life would be something else right now. I'm not saying my life is bad, but I'm saying I would probably be a multimillionaire. I would be famous, right? And it all stopped. I had no type of map or way to build any type of transportation mode across the vastness of my murky unworthiness and undeservedness and everything else. It was much more dangerous then, making the trip than it is now, So, okay, that's where I am with this. Thank y'all for being here. This is I want to do more of this. I love the way my podcast has been, where I have these, not perfectly planned out, but they're more planned out. It's more structured. I had to get my makeup on. I got to get all this shit together, right? But it takes me out of the intuitive. It takes me out of the magic. And it also is the reason why there's breaks in between me posting, because I want everything to be right. Again, that's all of this shit. It is me. My issues with my podcast coming out consistently are around my own procrastination and my feelings of unworthiness. That who would I be? That is the question. Who would I be if I put my podcast out every week consistently? Who would I be if I posted on YouTube every week, 2 or 3 times a week, which actually isn't hard? I'm like, oh, it's so hard. How you going to post that? You going to do this? Because you got to get the lighting, and you got to get the camera, and you got to get your outfit, and you got to get dressed. And all of those are barriers to entry, right? Barriers to entry that I have created that look logical, but actually, it's getting so dark in here, but actually are my own feelings of unworthiness that are masked as something else. So all this logical shit y'all come up with, it's a mask, What is it masking for real? You got to get to what is behind that mask. You know, a villain wears a mask. When you pull that mask off, it's like, oh, who is really there? Oh, ain't nobody but fear, anxiety, shame, lack of deserving, feeling unworthy. That's what's behind that mask. That's look like, oh, it's this thing. So either I'm going to do the damn thing or I'm not, because I can't keep playing with myself, with my mission, with my passion, with my talent, with these gifts. And I have created a barrier between those gifts and me and those gifts and you. And so again, that's why I'm doing this video, because I've got to get out of that. Like, this is me leaping over that barrier, because it's like, well, who will I be if I just make it easy and make a video? If I just record, if I just pull out my phone and pull out my mic and just sit there with what I have on, where I am, and I record and I'm done and I upload it, who would I be if I did that? Who would I be? You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here like, I would just be someone who feels deserving. Because that's what I'm trying to map out. Like, oh, only way you can know who you'll be is if you go ahead and be her. And it's like, oh, you just be somebody who's true to herself. I will be someone who is happy and relaxed and confident and proud of myself. I have a barrier to being proud of myself, because I was raised I never had anybody proud of me. I didn't grow up with anybody being proud of me. And it was almost like that's vain to be proud, to compliment, to applaud yourself. So I've got to get past that, because that's who I would be. I would have to be the opposite of everything I was trained to be, right? And I want to be someone who's proud of myself and has tons of things to be proud of and to be recognized and to be lauded for, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I'm teaching myself. So that's who I will be once I post this video, which I'm going to post today, which is also what I want to do. Record and post that shit. Whatever. Listen, I ain't going to tell you what to do. I can't even give you any advice today. Hopefully you got something out of this. I'm just telling you where I am and what I'm doing. And I hope this helps. And this is not going to be, I don't even know if this is going to have an intro and an outro on YouTube. And I guess I probably will go ahead and post this as a podcast episode today too, because it still can be beneficial. And yeah, that's what I have for y'all. Thank you. I like this. I'm not even going to say what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. But I'll see y'all soon. Bye. Okay, so I was listening back to what I just recorded, and I got another hit that I got to add in. I don't know where I'm going to put this. If I'm going to split it up and put it in the middle and put it at the end, it's going to be a part 2 or what. But what I missed was that those feelings of anxiety, and just be patient with me as I flush this out as I'm talking. Those feelings of anxiety, I'm not going to say the feelings of anxiety. The message, the programming, the programming is, I'm not deserving, I'm not worthy. The other big part of that programming for me is I can't trust myself. Ooh, motherfucker. I am not trustworthy. I cannot trust my ideas. I don't have good ideas. I can't trust myself to execute. I don't know what to do next. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't trust my intuition, that I can't trust my capabilities, that I can't trust my motherfucking self. God damn it. This whole thing, it's like a life of gaslighting. The fuck? God damn it. That's what it is. And I have proven myself to be trustworthy, and I still still find myself not trusting myself. And this goes straight back to my childhood because my mother didn't trust me. She didn't believe me. Fuck believing in me. She didn't believe me when I said I cleaned my room. Let me go see. This room ain't clean. You said you cleaned your room. And the room was clean, the best that a 7-year-old could clean it. It's not clean like a 40-year-old would clean it. You know, if I made us see, I did my best in the class. She did not believe that I did my best. Whatever it was, where are you going? I'm going with such and such. No, you can't go. Why I can't go? She doesn't believe me. So I was always trustworthy, but that's the mind fuck that there's somebody showing you that you're not trustworthy, that you can't be trusted. And there's nothing more you're doing all the right things. And it's like, what? So now I have turned in, remember how I say, we go from being the prey to the predator. We become the predators of our own selves. We become the villains to our own inner little child, to our own self, to our own life, to our own dreams. We become the fucking villains. And there is nothing more villainous. Remember that mask, right? Remember the villain wears the mask of, I'm going to make you believe that you can't trust yourself. Because you won't never do anything without me. You won't ever step out there. You won't ever take a risk. You won't ever bet on yourself. You cannot execute. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what this is. And it's not me showing myself to be trustworthy. There was a time I couldn't trust myself because I made such poor decisions. Poor decisions with money, poor decisions with men, poor decisions with food, poor decisions with friendships. It's like, you do make some fucked up decisions. But now I'm at a point where I've come past that. I have shown that I am trustworthy. I'm shown that I can move with integrity and I have character and I'm accountable. And I still stutter step. It's still so hard for me to fucking believe that I can trust day after day. That's why buying this house was so important, because it is the like drawing a line in the sand. It's like putting a stake in the ground of, I fucking did it. I trusted myself. I trusted that I could save the money. I trusted that I could fix the credit. I trusted in the idea that I wanted to leave Atlanta and move somewhere where I only know one person who lived. They live 45 minutes away, to a town we don't know anybody. We don't have no help, no support, no nothing. And I'm like, we gonna be fine. I trust that I can handle all of that, that we will meet the people we're going to meet, that we will have the life that we want to have. Like all of the dream I had in my mind, it was like, execute on it, do it. That was what 2024 was. In fucking April, I decided, oh, my lease is up at the end of October. What are you going to do? I'm like, am I going to rent here? Am I going to stay here paying this rent? Paying over $3,000 a month. Glad that I can do it and it don't put a strain on me, but do I want to do that? Do I want to stay in somebody else's house? Do I want to buy a house? Do I want to buy a house in Atlanta? I know I don't want to live in Atlanta. So why would you buy a house in Atlanta? Because as soon as my son go to college, I'm leaving. Well, where do you want to go? Do that now. I was like, oh shit. So I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to leave Atlanta all at the same time. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And it was the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. And I didn't move because I was running from evictions like in the past. You know, I didn't move because I was trying to be with somebody like I've done in the past. It was like solely intuitively led, right? And that's why I walk around this house and I am in a state of awe and appreciation, and I have to pinch myself because I'm like, you can trust yourself. This is time. Like, look at this. You can trust yourself. And guess what? This shit is still fucking hard to trust myself. It's still, even in little ways, like, do that make sense? Should I do that? And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And so that is the prescription. The prescription is for how to get past that. The feeling that I can't trust myself, the unworthiness, and the undeserving. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to let y'all know what the plan is, because I'm going to give you the same plan just in case you're in the same boat that I'm in. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to add that piece in because it's very critical to this conversation. It's very critical. Okay, I'm gone for real. I'll talk to y'all on the other side.